Okay, let's have a look at the metric system and how it works, and also looking at length. So the metric system is a measurement system using the base 10 number system. How we put numbers in our place value, a place value chart, it's a similar thing. And it has three main units: meter for length, kilogram for mass, and seconds for time. Now we're focusing on length, so we'll be focusing on meters. If you look at the table at the right, we can see it's got a unit 1 here. From there, our value can get bigger or it can get smaller. So if I go up, that unit 1, just say it's 1 meter. Okay, the unit can be a meter or a kilogram, but let's focus on meter. So 1 meter can become 10 meters. If I times that 1 by 10, I have a 10, and we call that a decameter. If I times it by another 10, so I get to 100, a hectometer. I times it by another 10, I have 1,000, which is kilo or kilometer. And that's so these prefixes represent how big or how small our numbers are getting. And a prefix is just a word added to the beginning of another word, and it creates a new word. Okay, so if we have a look at this table, focusing on length, if I start with my unit, so just like over here, the unit was starting in the middle, so unit 1, and our unit 1 now is meter for length. If I go up, I've got 10, so decameter, go up another one, 100 hectometer, 1,000 is a kilometer. And we know 1,000 meters makes up 1 kilometer. That's how we get these words. If I go down, so if I go underneath 1 meter, this is where we see decimals. We get a tenth or 0.1. As a fraction, I'd have 1 over 10. Okay, so I'm dividing by 10, or dividing by 100, dividing by 1,000, and so on. And we can see these words here: deci, centi, we've seen it in centimeter; milli, in millimeter. Okay, micro, you may have heard that when relating to mass, so micrograms, you might see that on your medicine if you have medicine from the pharmacist. So if we go back to this, so our base unit, if we're looking at grams, 1,000 grams is a kilogram. That's why we have a kilometer and a kilogram. Kilo means 1,000, and both of these are 1,000. In this case, 1,000 meters. In this case, 1,000 grams. Even in liters, we see kiloliter. 1,000 kiloliters is 1 kiloliter. So 1,000 liters is 1 kiloliter, which is why kilo is there. And it's useful to know what these prefixes mean. It can help us remember the values they represent. If we go under 1, deci for decimeter, we don't really use those in measurement. We do use centimeter, so divided in the hundredths, so divided by 100, we get our centimeter. Divided by 1,000, we get millimeters. When it comes to mass, milligrams, we have seen milligrams on your food packaging, mg, milligrams. Okay, so that's 1 gram out of 1,000. Okay, so 1,000ths. So it's getting quite small. But the main thing is the metric system. It's actually quite straightforward once we get the hang of it and once we start using it. But the point of this is you don't have to remember all of these names. It's just giving you an overview and a better understanding of where these words come from and why we actually see them in, not just in length, we see kilo in mass, we see kilo in capacity, we see, millimeters, we see milligrams, milliliters. That milli is referring to a number, a value. Okay, so we start with our base unit and we either go up or we go down. And the other thing I want to point out is we start getting 10 times bigger. So deca, hecto, kilo is getting 10 times bigger. See, 10 times 10 is 100, 100 times 10 is 1,000. But then in the metric system, from here, it gets 1,000 times bigger. Okay, so from here we go from 1,000 to 1,000,000. Okay, so we times by 1,000, and then 1,000,000 to 1,000,000,000. So times by 1,000. 1,000 has 3 zeros, and we can see we are adding 3 zeros from here on. Okay, and down here as well, we are dividing by 10, divide by 10, divide by 10, and then divide by 1,000, divide by 1,000, divide by 1,000. So doing the opposite. And that's how we get these values. These are some symbols you may have seen, and this micro symbol, you may see it on medication, the microgram, because they use quite small values. Thank you.